This is the Rack of the Week 283. We're going to play some Nineball today. What's Nineball about? You know the words. They start with A and S. I think you know. I'm not going to make you wait. I'll tell you in about 60 seconds. First, I want to mention an interview that I just did. I was invited to be interviewed by Voyage Phoenix magazine. So I talk about my journey developing the straight pool, shortstop on pool brand. And so probably some stuff that you don't know about me that's in that interview. It's not very long. And it was an online interview where I composed my answers beforehand and sent them in. But it's a really cool magazine. They interview all kinds of entrepreneurs from all around the Phoenix area. So I'll put a link to the description on that. Check that out. And of course, on the screen, as always, you see the names of my supporters. I want to say welcome to my new supporters, Carlos Sanchez and Ron Rudman. Welcome and thank you. And what do you need? What are the two words that are important for playing Nineball? A and S, angle and speed. Angle and speed, of course. And so I'm going to play two racks today. One of them is the last rack of the week. I set the balls back up and run them out. And I don't make it the first time, but I get it the second time. Except for one thing. I put the 6 ball in the wrong place. And I missed that until I was done. But there's still some couple of valuable tips in there. And then I break another rack and run out. And do I make it through that one? I don't know. You'll have to watch to find out. But there's some good lessons in the second one too, all about angle and speed. Let's get into the racks. Just getting started today. So hopefully I can run this out in the first inning. We'll see. But if I mess up, I've got to set them all back up and go again. All right, let's see. I remember I had I was pretty darn straight on that. All right, here we go. Okay. Okay, well, that's not what I was trying to do. Obviously, I'm trying to come here. I want to be below the 4 because coming across and being above the 3, being above the 3 isn't so good. But kind of would prefer it now. Oh, a little too far. It's not bad. Yeah, I'm kind of running into the 7 with a rolling ball. But if I go to a sliding ball, then I'm going to I got to hit it harder, and I'm going to end up coming past there and hook myself behind the 8. So the alternative is going into the 8. Softly, you don't want to push it to the rail. You'd love to go to the rail and off or straight up, and then you'll have it in the corner of the side. But running into balls is always tricky. This is simple. I do it a lot in straight pool, but it can go wrong. So I just want to take a look at it. Is that one I want to... The other thing you can do is a kill shot. You can shoot with low right. Just a lot of right English and try and kill the cue ball here without touching the 8. I think the highest percentage play is to just go ahead and hit it softly, so you can do a nice positive stroke with a sliding cue ball. And not have to hit. And that's the danger with doing that. That's the danger. God darn it. Well, I'm going to have to do it again. Kicking this in is almost impossible because you got to go rail first, but I mean, you got to hit the rail like here above the side pocket. I don't think, hitting the rail here Yeah, I mean, it's almost impossible. Well, you had a better chance of kicking the 7 up here, actually. And you have a chance of getting safe behind the 8. See, but that's why you don't run into balls. It looked like it was no risk, but it was. All right. Well, I mean, this is the same as a Hail Mary shot in straight pool. I don't care if I successfully kick the 7 is, because it's not repeatable. You know. But I'll just give it a chance. I'll give it a go just because. So I've got to run it again. But there you go. I made a bad decision. It would have been better to roll the cue ball. Now that I think about it, I mentioned that rolling the angle that I got on the 6, rolling the cue ball was going to hit the 7. That's what I said. Now that I've failed, what I realized I should have done is go ahead and hit the 7, because I can judge that I'm going to hit the top of the 7 as long as I don't hit it hard to bounce the 7 way out here. Just brush it, then I'd be okay. See? That's the way to do it. So that was a bad decision on my part. Now, if you're practicing, don't just go to the next rack. It's a challenge, okay? I have not run out from the break. Well, from the layout, from the break yet. I haven't done it. Let's see. 1 and 4, 2 is here, 5 is here. And I got a big angle on the 2. I want to be able to draw that cue ball back and get flatter on that 2 ball. Because I got lucky to make the 3 in the side and not scratch and get a shot on the 4. So don't, you reshoot the 6 and you run out. Don't go to the next rack. You haven't solved this one yet. You got to, it's really going to do a lot for your confidence and your mental game if you go ahead and address it. Go ahead and challenge yourself and say, no, I want to be able to get out the right way. Yeah, I did. Yeah. All right. So this is a challenging shot, as we've seen, because now I've shot it a bunch of times, including today and last week. Because of the short distance, we're trying to get a lot of power on it, so we need a longer bridge. But we got to stop the Q-tip before it fouls. So, and I made a video recently where I did that. I had the cue ball really close to the object ball and force followed 2 rails all the way up. So that's the same technique. The issue here is my bridge wants to be here. So I can only go this far. I can only draw back this far. So maybe I want to get back here. I don't know. Yeah, that hopped. It's in the air and hopping. And that's because I was a little more elevated. Making a bridge here, I got more elevated than down here. Yeah, there we go. That's the shot. Okay, so the difference was, rather than trying to get a longer bridge, I was making sure to aim much lower on the cue ball. There was no side spin on that, and it still came this long. But here's the difference. Compare this 2 ball to when my cue ball's here, and I got to make the ball and send the cue ball back and forth with some kind of accuracy. How much easier is this? I don't have to play position. There's no position. Just make the ball. This is what you want. Now I can get that shallow angle on the 4. Don't just bend over quick. See it before you bend over. Visualize it and then make it happen. Now I got too much angle because I'm talking. Okay. Now, I know what the angle is, but I got to stay in the habit of going and looking anyway, because if it's a part of your routine, then never discard it. Always do it. Then you don't have to think about it. And do I have the same angle? No. So now I have a different angle. I am not going to touch the 7. I have this. I could run into the 8, but we saw what happened there. So this one is all speed control. Just gentle, gentle, gentle. If you think about it, this is, let me take a look. This is just a hair less than a half ball hit. In other words, I'm aiming just inside the edge of the object ball. And that's telling me with a rolling cue ball, it's somewhat close, it's like 30 degrees. And so the travel distance of both balls should be very close to the same. So if I can get the cue ball to the rail, then the 6 ball will make it to the pocket. Pretty close. A little bit farther, and I would have been hooked behind the 8. I'm trying to come all the way, close to straight in. But we're not going to complain. This isn't bad. To the rail, off. Okay, I ran the rack. See, now that's the way you want to do your practice sessions. You're ending on a positive note. You're ending on a confidence boosting note. Rather than the other one, the first time I tried it, where I made a mistake and didn't get out, but then I reset the 6 ball and got out. That's fine. Now reset all 9 balls and do it from the beginning. You have to do that to set it in your mind that that's what it's about. It's not about partial racks. You've got to be able to complete the whole thing. Okay. Now let's break the balls and see what else we can come up with. The one ball ended up short. Didn't it hit here? I think it hit there. And of course my cue ball went low. Oh well, this is not a lesson about how to break the balls. Go somewhere else for that. This is pretty cool. I'll take ball in hand and run out from here, just to be able to talk about it. Well, I mean, you can see it. Yeah. So I can see the 1 ball. I should try and run out from here. I'll tell you why. This is one of the occasions where you don't want to play the balls where they lie. Because if you can shoot, and it's because the 2's right there. So if I can shoot the 1 off, if I can shoot the 1 off the 3, that'll open these up, but I'm not having to play position on one of these. I'm playing position on the 2. It works because the 2 ball's on the rail. Or the 2 ball's near the pocket. If the 2 ball was here, maybe you wouldn't do it. Maybe you'd do something else. But because I probably can get good position on that 2 ball, it's worth trying. Now, that's a tough shot because the cue ball is close to the rail. So it's hard to control. But here's the thing. This 3 ball is a huge, huge, huge ball if you go rail first. So you cut this 1 ball rail first,
and it'll go in off the 3 and open these up. Since I'm cutting the 1, tangent line's this way, so now my cue ball's coming around. I'm not trying to play real precise position on the 2 ball, just get out here, center table. We'll see where the 3 ball ends up and how we can get there. But I think this is the type of thing that you're faced with, push out or shoot from here. And because of the 2 ball and this combination, let's give it a whack and see if I can run out. Whoa! Cue ball got double kissed, but now they're open, and look, I'm wide open on the 2, and if I don't have a route to get to the 3, I'm still at the table, I'm in control, I can play a safety. It is difficult to get to the 3. I don't think I can go forward. No, because, if you were closer or if you could hit it softer, you could get the cue ball to follow forward without hitting the 5. But in order to hit enough speed to get back up for the 3, the cue ball is going to deflect and it's going to hit the 5. So you can't do that. So you got to draw or stun past the 5. So you don't want to hit the 6 and scratch. You got to come around the 6. So you got to look at that angle. Now, is that angle coming around the 6? If I can get between the 9-7, just get over here, I'm good to go. But that's the if. You can hit the 6 going into the first or going into the second rail. You can hit the 6 coming off the second rail. You could hit the 7, scratch in the side. You could hit the 8 and come up here and get a good shot. Or the 9. A lot of things can happen, but you got to. I think it's going offensive is the way to go. And so I just need to pick a point on the rail, and it's not the center diamond. It's going to be over here. That way I'll miss the 6, and I think I've got the right trajectory to come across. The cue ball on this shot is going to pick up right spin, contact-induced spin when it hits the 2 ball anyway. And you kind of want a shorter angle, or a longer angle rather, off the first rail. Because a natural angle is going to come here and then come too long and hit the 7. So in other words, this is the angle in, and we want the angle out to be less. We don't want the same angle out. We want a longer angle off this rail. So I'm going to use a little bit of right spin on the shot as well to get it shorter. It's weird because running English off from one rail is a shorter path, but on multiple rails it's a longer path. I'll get into that at another date. But I don't have to use a lot of spin because it's going to pick up some contact into spin anyway. All right, after all that talk, can I execute? That's adequate. It's not great. Wow, I came too close to the side pocket too. I really wanted to come off this rail like here would be much better. That said, I think I've got to go. Yeah, it's a tough shot. Yeah, this is one of those shots. In the old days, you could not leg this in one rail. Because in order to leg it in one rail, you have to hit it so hard that the cue ball is going to go all the way back down table. With modern equipment, you just can kind of tap it in, and the cue ball can just come down here. In other words, at soft speed, with modern cloth, at soft speed, the 3 balls will still make it to the pocket. In the old days, you couldn't slow roll it. It wouldn't get there. Or it would drift and brush the rail, and it would never go in. It's a real touchy shot because I'm hitting it so thin. And it's hard. You want to put right English on this, but it's hard to do because I'm close to the rail. Well, I'm shooting over the pocket opening. Let's give it a go. When you hit it soft, you get more more throw. In other words, the friction of the cue ball coming across the 3 pushes the 3 ball that way. So you have to overcut it, which makes the cue ball travel even farther. So it's a really delicate shot. Let's see if I can pull it off. I could play it harder and come down table, but I'm just going to hit the 9 or the 5, and it's not going to be good. Oh, man, and I overcut it. And plus I'm elevated over the 7 to shoot the 4. Did I jump up a mile on that shot? That might be part of the reason why I overcut it. Let's try and stay still and do it. Yeah. If you stay still, then you jumping up, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. So all those shots, the 1, 2, and 3 were tough kind of trick shots. Now every ball's wide open and has a pocket. This is the routine part. All you want to do is don't hook yourself on that dang 6. So let's take a look at it. Where do I want to go on the 6? If I was flatter on the 4, you would just pull the cue ball back, and it's okay to accept a long shot on... Oh, I'm going to the 5. What am I talking about? Orange 5, dude. All right. Forget everything I said. The orange 5. I need to pull down here and come down here. It's very unlikely I'm going to end up behind the 6, but I'd want to get off this rail. And of course, I don't want to hit the 7. A lot of people think this is a draw shot. Oh, you need to draw the cue ball. No. And I'll cover this in my bounce video coming up. This is a bounce shot. The ball is just about 1 ball diameter for the rail. In order for draw to work, it needs to have enough time after the cue ball needs to have enough distance after leaving the object ball for the backspin to take. Well, you don't have enough distance. It's not going to take. Now, the draw can take after it comes off the rail. It could come this way and then the draw takes and curves it. Okay? But that's more of a stroke shot and a kind of a trick shot. We don't want to have to rely on this. This is a spin shot. Now, you do want to hit below center. You don't want the cue ball going forward. Hitting below center, you can... If you hit in the center, you're going to go 90 degrees to the rail. A little bit below center is going to give you a slight angle this way. That's all you need for the right English on the cue ball to be running English, and that's going to open up the angle. So don't think this is, you got to draw the ball here. It's below center and then a bunch of right. And so because of that, if you were going to hit it with draw, you got to put a good old stroke on it, right? But if you're spinning it, you don't have to hit it hard. You're just hitting it with enough speed to get good side rotation. Let's see if I can pull it off after all that talk. Just like that. You can see the cue ball side spinning. See that? Okay. From here, all the trick shots are done. We should be just in line. I have a very slight angle here, so I'm going to follow to the rail with left spin and come out. I don't want to get hooked behind the 9, but I don't want to have too much angle. Obviously, it's going to be super easy to get on the 7 no matter what happens. But I'd like a shallowish angle because the minimal cue ball is it's as true in 9-ball as it is in straight pool. So if I can just get my cue ball to do this and come off the rail, it's easy to go 7 in the side, get on the 8. And honestly, I don't have to think about the angle I need on the 8 yet. That's 4 balls ahead. So, but 5, 6, 7, you have to think about. So in order, I'm talking a lot, but when the cue ball lands here, the process is walk over here Angle, cue ball is going to hit here, come out here. Got it. Now go behind the 5. And behind the 5 and behind the cue ball are the same thing on this shot. And now I'm repeating what I just rehearsed in my mind. Cue ball here, left spin here. That's going to take this much left spin, this much high. Okay, got it. Now I see it. Now execute. And that is the key to speed control. I saw it twice before I shot it. So all you're doing is telling your mind to make what you just saw, what you just visualized happen twice, just make that happen. I didn't get the angle I wanted. I can't stun it, but I can spin it. So I'm just going to softly roll this in. A lot of right spin. That's all you got to do. Don't try and get fancy and try and come up here to shoot the 7 in the corner or bump the 9 or any of that crap. Just the simplest thing is what you want. That's all you need to do. Now I have too much angle on this ball. There's a couple of options here. Obviously, I didn't talk about end-to-end transitions because we were busy with other stuff. This is really the only significant end-to-end transition. You got to go 8 down to the 9. And I mentioned it before. When you play 9-ball, especially racking the 9-ball on the spot, the 9-ball's right here in this general area most of the time. And so whether the 8-ball's down table or up table, you're playing a ball into the corner. Why is that significant? It's because if you draw a line from the pocket you're going to shoot the 9 in, it comes to the side pocket. That means I can't shoot a shot that bounces off the rail and comes into the line because that's a scratch. That's why this ball is tricky to play position on. Obviously for what we would prefer is this angle on the 8-ball, because then you go here above the side pocket and the left spin pulls it down onto the shot line. If you get more angle, you've got to go across either one rail or to here and off for 2 rails. But I don't know if I can get the cue ball there. Can I? No. If I go I can't go forward like this. Well, maybe I could and then come straight back down, but I risk hitting the 8. Yeah, see, so I don't want to do it. Yeah, that's rough. I mean, the trick shot is to draw the cue ball to the rail with right English and go 2 rails out, center table. Here, center table or shortest center table. You don't want to try and get too crazy. Or you can't get too specific if you're drawing the cue ball around 3 rails. I'd rather do something more specific than that. Oh, yeah. So the other alternative, the safe alternative is shoot the 7 in the corner because the cue ball goes to the rail and out here. And once again, it's going to be hard to get the correct angle. But frankly, based on where I stopped on my 7, that might be the best way to go. Yeah, it is the best way to go. The third alternative is to control the cue ball, shoot the 7 in the side, and just draw the cue ball to here, go short side position on the 8. You're almost guaranteed to have to jam the cue ball up to the head rail or something. Or you can easily mishit that and the cue ball stops here on the rail. Let's not do that. Let's choose the shot where we do have to do the least with the cue ball, and we know the cue ball is not going to be on the rail. So I just want to look at this. I'm going to hit the rail here. I can probably get this angle. But like I've said before, priority number 1 is make the ball. Just barely have that angle. Now, if I had more angle, I'm definitely going to go to the rail and come down because that's more controllable, but I'm pretty flat. So this is one of those where you're looking at, it's end-to-end transition. So this is the line in the half of the table. I need to draw back past this line. So you look at your min-max, right? Your minimum is here. and your maximum's here. So sweet spot's here. So and that's what I'm doing. Before I shoot this 8, I'm going to walk around and look at the 9 and go, oh yeah, min, max, bing. You'll see players pointing here, cue stick here. That's what they're doing, finding the middle of the zone. Angle to the pocket. I'll favor the right side of the pocket to make sure I come along this line. Don't need any side spin. And I got the minimum. But guess what? Because I made a conscious decision about what the minimum and the maximum was, I could shoot the 8 with confidence, no doubt in my mind about where I'm trying to get the cue ball to. This is Pool 101. You want to play the cue ball to a specific part on the rail. I've been watching Shane at the last 2 tournaments, and he's been, on this shot, Shane has been sending the cue ball forward a lot, which is strange because I've seen in the past, he would draw the cue ball to this rail. And lately he's been going forward. So I think it's preference, personal preference. But the thing is, you don't want to roll this ball. You want the object ball to be, the object ball is going to, you want to hit the object ball hard enough that it slides a little bit and then rolls. So you're not blasting it, but you're not soft. You're not shooting it real soft. Anyway, simple enough. Did I run out that rack or did I made a mistake. What did I make a mistake on? Oh, cutting this ball thin. Cutting this ball thin. So maybe next week I'll set this back up and do it again, but next week's going to be straight pool. And I will be getting ready to go to the U.S. Open, so I'm going to record 2 straight pool racks of the week for next week and the week after, and then I'll be back from the U.S. Open and do some more 9-ball. Hope you enjoyed that and got something out of it. Thank you. See ya. Play it straight.